Greetings. This video I created to help you process um, these readings on the Nazis and really understand Nazi thinking. So there's a few of them. That's why it's a 2-day assignment. You got Nazism and its philosophy, Nazi creed, Mein Kampf, Hitler v. Stalin, and there's one extra credit activity, which makes you analyze the visual. Hopefully you do that. People have been asking for extra credit. Here it is. But things are only extra if you're doing the normal thing. So you have to do the normal thing and the extra. So just doing one or the other doesn't work. So if you click on this document will open. You should make the copy. I'm pretty sure I've showed people enough how to do this. So you shouldn't need to know how to do that anymore. So let me just read Nazism and its philosophy and see how long that takes. So that way, if there's things to explain, you'll hear me explain them as we go along. There'll be times when you're going to want to pause and answer. There'll be times when you can just keep going. All right, here's the directions. Read the article and answer the questions in a complete sentence. Okay. From 1919 until the Nazis took power in 1933, Germany experienced severe economic and political problems. The German people needed to be reunited in order to, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make a copy. So in case I want to answer on here, I can without everyone getting my answer. Let me make my copy. Who am I going to be today? I will be hopeful. Helpful Hank. I'm going to name myself today. Remember, whenever you make a copy, get rid of the original. That way you don't accidentally try to answer or submit the wrong thing. And type in Helpful Hank. And the date. The date will be Friday the 19th. Period. Oh, let's go second period. I have 3 of these classes, so just one of them. But it is my most full class. So, all right. So once you've done that, then you can, now I can highlight things as I read. This is what you want to do. I think it's too small to view comfortably, so I'm going to change it to 150. Oh, much better, even with my old eyes. All right, reading again. So I'm looking for scapegoating and how the Nazis used scapegoating. All right. From 1919 until the Nazis took power in 1933, Germany experienced severe economic and political problems. German people needed to be reunited in order to improve conditions. And anti-Semitism provided a focus around which the German people could gather. It was during this period that the National Socialist Party rose to power with Adolf Hitler as its leader. The Nazis devised a great deal of propaganda, accusing the Jews of prolonging World War I, bringing about Germany's defeat, causing a revolution, and benefiting from Germany's economic misfortunes. So that's blaming them. All those things are blame. Blaming others for one's own shortcomings and mistakes is called scapegoating. So blaming one other. And what I would suggest is using 2 different colors. I think that's too dark. I like pink and yellow the best, as easiest to read through after you're done. And if it gets off a little, do not obsess. Just go with it and move on. The light highlighting is best. This technique served the Nazis well in distracting the masses from national problems and from the deprivation of personal liberties, means taking away freedoms, which the Nazis were imposing on the nation. Okay, remember what the direction says. Complete sentence. Scapegoating is blaming others for your problems. Don't eat every word to do this effectively. Don't be sloppy. Don't leave the extra space. As long as you get it on one line, it's good, and you can stop fixing it. How did the Nazis scapegoating? Now, if you don't have that part, it's not going to be very good. To what? To blame Jewish people for everything. I can't say everything. You got to be specific. Or I know it's going to be a list, so I'm going to write a colon. Losing World War I, causing a revolution, 18, 19, and causing Germany's economic depression. So, complete sentence, complete answer, moving on. At the very heart of Nazism is the concept of total state power, or totalitarianism, in which the power of the government and its control over individual citizens is total and unlimited. We're going to have to define totalitarianism, so let's get that one. Our last one was pink, so this time I'm going to go yellow. Every aspect of life is under direct control of the government. One's job, education, church, neighborhood, and family. So that sounded important too. Democratic governments work for the good of their citizens, while the German government under the Nazis proclaimed that its aim was the good of the state. Okay, so it's not about you, it's about the government. Huh. All political parties, the press, churches, and trade unions were removed or Nazified. Systematic, meaning that made it more like the Nazis, meaning there was less freedom, meaning if you did the wrong thing in any of those groups, the Nazis could imprison you and torture you and maybe even kill you. Systematic terror froze the population into fear and obedience. Okay, I'm going to write up maybe two more of these answers and then I will just point them out. Is total government control over individual, including, I need a list. See, I can make a list and still write a sentence, including job, education, church, neighborhood, etc. So I had a typo. Did I leave it? No. And is supported with propaganda and terror. Fear makes this happen. So I don't leave it sloppy. I'm going to start taking points off if you turn in sloppy work because I'm kind of tired of saying it. So I'm going to take off 20 points if it looks sloppy to me. It should never look sloppy because then you're not showing you care about your work and you need to show you care, even if it takes an extra 3 seconds to fix. Continuing reading. Nazism stressed that the collective community rather than the individual is supreme. It also emphasized that the German people were superior because of their natural superiority were destined to lead the world. The authority of the National Socialist Party centered in the hands of a madman, Adolf Hitler, their Führer. The Hook's cross was chosen by Hitler as the symbol of the Nazis, and it's the swastika. Okay, this is the answer. So right in there. Nazism stressed the collective community rather than the individual is supreme. Then move on. Nazism did not permit German citizens the civil rights, individual liberties guaranteed. You might want to pause, but I'm going to keep reading because this is digital and I only got so much space. Nazism did not permit German citizens the civil rights and individual liberties guaranteed by democratic governments. There was neither freedom of speech, of the press, nor of religion. Equal treatment under the law vanished. It disappeared. Nazi domination and denial of these rights and freedoms virtually enslaved every German. Attempts to crush the opposition to Nazi principles were continuous. Techniques used to intimidate the German people and to harm actual or potential enemies were cruel and ruthless. Name 3 civil rights that citizens of Germany did not have. Okay, so you need the specifics. Freedom of speech, press, religion, equal treatment under the law. That's it right there. Make sure it's a sentence, not just this list. So you have to write 3 civil rights German citizens didn't have, or blah, blah, blah. Moving on. No, go ahead and pause while you answer, and then hit pause again to continue hearing this. Nazi programs and methods were designed to have great appeal to the emotions, not of the mind. You know what I want to do on this one? I want to go ahead and peek ahead. So I'm going to peek ahead. So it's about propaganda as a weapon. How was propaganda used? And then education of the young. That's the gist of those 3 questions. Okay, back to the reading. So appeal to emotions, that's part of it. The use of symbols, drama, and ritual was important. Propaganda to influence the masses was an important tool for the Nazis to maintain control. So the purpose of propaganda was to maintain control, and the educational system was a major instrument. Official Nazi youth organizations were established according to Hitler's ideals. Textbooks were rewritten, curricula altered, and teachers readily took oaths supporting racist policies. Ugh, that's awful. Censorship of newspapers, radio, theater, films, and other media was common. Okay, so censorship. Oaths supporting racism more often. That's terrible. Shortly after Hitler came to power in 1933, one of the first official acts of the Nazi government aimed at making Germany culturally uniform was to publicly burn books considered to be Jewish, Marxist, or Bolshevik. In my book, as someone who loves to learn new things, and loves books, there's nothing more pathetic than a book burner. Because when you're a book burner, you're not willing to discuss ideas. You're showing that you're afraid of ideas. And truly, that is pathetic. Okay, let's answer these. Why is propaganda an effective political weapon? Propaganda is an effective political weapon because it appeals to people's emotions, not to their intellect. People prefer to rely on their emotions rather than their brains. How was propaganda used in Nazi Germany? It was used with symbols, drama, and ritual to maintain control with the education system. So you're going to have to mix both of those in. I would go ahead and pause as you need to answer, but I'm going to keep going. So that way, when you unpause, I'm still going. Why do you think the Nazis emphasized the education of young people? Educating young people is totally sensible because older people are more set in their ways. Younger people are more suggestible to new ideas. For example, make sure you're not have little kids in the area when you're listening to this. Little kids believe ideas that adults don't necessarily believe, like the boogeyman, monsters, and certain icons on holidays. I don't want to say exactly because you don't have a daughter. But old people, they're really set in their ways and they're less easily convinced. Okay. Pause until you answer through 8, then keep reading. And you can press unpause here. The popular mass support of the people was needed even while their liberty was being destroyed. The Nazi program was intentionally designed to appeal to the hopes and desires of the people. The Nazis flattered the Germans by telling them they belonged to a superior race, that the non-Aryans were corrupting the world. Okay. Non-Aryans corrupting. They're the super race. Yada, yada, yada. Of course, it's a bunch of nonsense. Even though Hitler was advocating the destruction of human beings, how did he get so many thousands of people to believe and follow his ideas? One, um, hopes and desires. So he made the Nazis think that they're the Germans really think they were better than they were. So he became popular by telling them, suggesting that they were better than they actually are. So I would just write many thousands of people believed and followed Hitler because they wanted to believe that they were superior to other races. In addition, there's what you need to add that's not really obvious or in the reading. In addition, there was a Great Depression happening and people were desperate and going hungry. So someone that offered them work, even if they were racist and awful, seemed somewhat better to them than someone that didn't. And this really shows you how desperate the Germans were, because they should have well known better than to ever put someone like Hitler in power. But there's this old saying in politics, and it goes something like this: people get leader they deserve. Something like that. Oh, there you go. Apparently, it was Joseph de Maistre who said, "In a democracy, people get what they deserve, and quite often they do not deserve good leaders." Of course, a Savoyard lawyer sounds like someone from the Enlightenment around the French Revolution time, saying, "Look, we deserved Robespierre because we let Robespierre come to power." And it looks like someone is saying, making that comparison to Trump's base. Anyway, that's it on this reading. Go ahead and read the next one on your own and do the summary. And then I might make another video on the next one. I think I will, because it's a tough read. This one isn't so hard to read. Remember, when you're summarizing, keep it short. Use synonyms. Don't use the exact same words, even though, like on these, you had to use the same word to make the sentence. This one being just summary, restating, you don't. And that is all.